All right, hello. We have a body weight workout today, a little bit of full body, and the second round through, I'm actually going to incorporate weights, not too heavy of weights, but just so you are aware, this workout can be done with them too. We will start with body weight squat and kick. So squat down and then kick with the opposite leg each time. When you are kicking forward, you are squeezing the standing leg so that you are engaging it, working that glute. When you squat down, you are sending your seat back, not just down. Your navel is drawn towards your spine. Your shoulders are flat on your back. Your chest is proudly facing forward. Almost done. Flex your foot when you kick, as if you're trying to press your heel as far forward as possible. All right, and then from here, squat, lunge back, pulse, and step back into the squat. So you're never fully standing. You are stepping back into the squat. You are pulsing once, and then you are stepping back forward. That front knee never goes past the front toes. And do your best to hover the knee that is stepping back over the ground and not touch it down. You can have your hands at your chest, palms pressing in towards one another, hands at the waist. Chest is still proudly facing forward. Navel is always drawn towards spine. It's going to start burning after a while because you're never coming to that full stand. You're never fully releasing that tension you are creating through this exercise. All right. Little burn. Come back on to your back for some glute bridges. So arms along the sides, longest finger brushes your heel, palm face up. And then press through your heels, lift your hips, squeeze your glutes. Keep your knees hip-width distance apart. There's a tendency that when you press up with your hips, your knees splay open. Want to prevent that. Squeeze your inner thighs to do so. Navel drawn towards spine. And as your glutes come down, don't focus on touching your glutes to the ground. Focus more on touching your low back to the ground. All right, now come up and hold. Press through all four corners of your feet and lower down. Press your hands through, crunch up. Fully release your crunch, so fully come onto your back before pressing back up. Go as slow as you possibly can so you're not using momentum. You're purely using your core and your back. We're going to be doing all the moves we do here 3 times through. All right, now bring your legs to tabletop. Set your heels down towards your mat. And then bring your knees up and in and repeat. Keep your low back flat on the mat. Even if that means you have to adjust the bend in your knees or lower one heel at a time, whatever works, as long as your low back's flat on your mat. Now come on to your left side for some clamshells. Use your glutes to lift your right knee up towards the ceiling and then towards the wall behind you. Keep your abdomen engaged this whole time. All right, and now pulse at the top of the range of motion. And now bring your right foot to the ground, inner thighs here. Lift your left leg up and down. Point your toes. Truly focus on your left inner thigh as you do this movement. And pulse at the top of that range of motion. All right, let's do some arm work. Take your left arm, hug your upper body, bring your right palm to the ground, press the ground away, engage your tricep, push the ground away, engage your bicep. Here we go. Kind of feels weird, but you're trying your best to leave your low body as it is and only use your right arm to push yourself away from the ground. So the whole weight of your upper body is what's working your right arm here. All right, all of that on the other side. So go ahead and switch it around. And we will start with the clamshells, left leg. Head, heart, and hips in alignment, so there's no arch in your back. Navel drawn to spine. Say hello to Hazel here. Focus on the muscle you're using and hold at the top and pulse. Plant your left foot on the ground, inner thigh on the right leg, point your right toes, lift as high as you can. Use your right inner thigh to lift your leg up. And now stop at the top and pulse. Hug your upper body with your right arm, left palm to the ground, push the ground away. Might take a few rounds in order to figure out the best positioning for your left palm, but you'll get it. Keep your core engaged. Keep your legs as they are. All right, and now we find a tabletop position. Start with your right leg, donkey kick. Keep your right foot flexed, 90-degree angle at your right knee. And then after your donkey kick, a straight kick back. So donkey, and then kick back, and then donkey, and then kick back. Press into your right hand. Level out between your right hand and your left knee. Navel drawn to spine. Press the ground away. Look how cute Hazel is. It'll motivate you. And hold at the top of your donkey and pulse. And hold at the kickback and pulse. Other side. Donkey kick with the left leg, 90-degree angle at the left knee, and then straight kick back after that. Push the ground away, round through your upper spine slightly, draw navel to spine, and focus on your glute engagement. If you're not feeling it in the glute, it's probably because you're arching in your low back, or you're shifting too much weight over to your right leg. Even out the weight distribution between your right leg and your left hand. And hold at the top of your donkey and pulse. Hold at the top of your straight leg and pulse. And return to table. Tricep push-ups. As you lower down, focus on bringing your chest towards the ground, slight pike in your hips here. Keep your elbows next to your ribs as you lower down. Push through your palms, press through your triceps. And shoulder tap. Come into a plank position. Tap opposite hand to opposite shoulder. Do your best to keep your hips in place. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, but to help with this, you can always widen the stance of your feet. Excellent. From here, some Supermans. So lower your knees, lower your body onto your mat, bring your hands under your shoulders, lift up using your upper back, press your hips and your toes into the ground. You're not even pushing through your hands here. You're using the strength of your upper back to lift your upper body off of your mat. Your hands are there for some moral support. You could even hover your hands off the ground to encourage your back to turn on even more. Even when you are laying on your stomach, your navel's drawn in towards your spine to protect your low back. And feel free here to lift those hands off the floor as you come up. Slow and steady wins the race here. It's not about quantity of reps, it's about quality. Challenge here, bring your arms out like the letter T. May not be able to go as high, doesn't matter. And then send your hands towards the wall behind you to do the same. A little 3-part movement here for some back strengthening. It's great for your posture, it's great for your glutes. And lower your forehead down and lift your right leg towards the sky. Point your right toes. Use your glute here. And pulse at the top. Gotta end with those pulses, you know. And switch sides. Left leg lifts. This is the last little bit before we start all over at the top with the option to add in some weights if you haven't already. All right, pulse at the top. And lower your foot down, both legs this time. Press into your hips, engage your core, and focus on your glutes, engaging to lift your heels higher, point your toes, reach them far behind you. Almost done. Wonderful. All right, here we go, our last move, a bear hold. So come into tabletop, curl your toes under, lift your knees to hover off of the ground, hold here. Almost done. Press the ground away. Draw navel to spine as always. Try to keep your knees hovering off the ground, not lifting higher and higher. Nice flat back here. Head is an extension of the spine, so you're looking down towards the ground, not back towards your legs, and you're done. Here we go. 2 more times. If you're going to add in some weights, do so here. And you've got about 7 seconds until we go ahead and get started once again. So find your way to the top of your space, come to stand, grab your weights if you're using them, bring them to your shoulders for your squat kick. So weight into your heels, send your seat back, come to stand and kick your leg. Next time you come to stand, you kick the opposite leg. As you kick your heel forward, you're engaging the standing leg, the quad, the glute, the core. Keep your chest facing forward, your gaze facing forward. And if you have to slow it down, go at a slower pace than I am, of course, do as your body needs today. Almost done. Focus on the muscles you're engaging. And then come into that squat for your pulse lunge step back. Squat down, step back and pulse. And come into your squat, step back opposite leg and pulse. There we go. Shoulders flat on the back, core engaged. As you step back, pulse once and then step forward. Don't lower your knee all the way to the ground. That'll give yourself a break. We want as much time under tension as possible to burn out these muscles. Not a super long workout today, not super strenuous, but that doesn't matter. You're moving your body, you're moving your energy, you're getting stronger in mind and in body, and that's what matters. To keep this more quad focused, you can have a slight lean forward of your torso as you step back, or to focus on glutes as well as quad, of course. Keep your shoulders stacked over your hips when you step back. It's starting to burn. I can see myself in this video slowing down as I'm doing the voiceover to it. Flashbacks. Perfectly fine to slow down. Alright, here we are done with that for now. And here we go with our bridges. So press through your heels, draw your navel to spine, and press your hips up towards the sky. Squeeze your glutes, slowly lower down, touch your low back to the mat, and then press back up. So the reason I say that cue is if your low back is coming towards the mat versus your glutes, more often than not, your pelvis is probably tucked, which is what you want a slight happening of. For a little extra glute oomph, lift your toes off the ground and just press your heels into the ground. Continuing your bridges, keep your knees hip-width distance apart. Press up and hold at the top. Squeeze your glutes, engage your core, draw your ribs in, and lower down. Excellent. From here, if you're using a weight, keep it in your hands. Slowly crunch all the way up to a seated position. Come all the way down, rest your head back down to the ground, and all before you come to sit back up. Go as slowly as you can so that you're truly engaging the muscles needed in order to perform this exercise versus just using momentum to get there. On to the next. If using the weight, you could put it where I put it by putting it on my ankles and then lowering my heels down to the ground and lifting my knees back up. Continuing this second ab motion. Draw navel to spine, keep your low back flat on your mat. Once again, even if that means only lowering one heel down to the ground at a time. Alright, here we go. Clamshell. Roll onto the left side of your body. If using a weight, place it on the right hip and open your right knee towards the ceiling and then back. Keep your right hip stacked on top of your left hip. When you open your right knee, your right hip is not going backwards as well. Your hips are staying exactly where they are as you lift your right knee up and back, as you draw navel to spine. And pulse at the top. Take your right foot behind your left leg and lift your left leg towards the ceiling. Place the weight on your left inner thigh. If using it, point your left toes. If you're not really being intentional with the muscle you're using, this movement can do nothing. So really focus on your left inner thigh. Now stop at the top of the range of motion and pulse. Excellent. If using your weight, you can bring it into your left hand as you hug your upper body with your left arm. I'm not though, so just press the ground away with your right palm. And switch sides. starting with clamshells. Take your weight if you have it on the left outer hip and lift your left knee towards the sky. Keep your left hip stacked on top of your right. Keep your core engaged. Keep your focus on the muscles you are using and on your breath. It's always so interesting to watch the video of me doing this because when I'm on the ground, it doesn't look like I'm doing much, but I know while I was doing it, it was something else. Okay, stop at the top of the range of motion and pulse. Slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady means proper engagement. All right, left foot to the ground. Inner thigh leg lift with the right leg. Point your toes. Use all the strength of your inner thigh to lift your leg and maybe even that weight off of the ground. Hold at the top and pulse. Wonderful. Find tabletop position. If using your weight, bring it behind your right knee for your donkey, and we're going to split it in half. So we're just going to do donkeys, and then we'll do straight leg, but because the weight's there, we can't switch between the two. If you're not using a weight, feel free, of course, to do that combo move of donkey and then straight back kick. Evenly distribute the weight between your right hand and your left leg. Keep your hips centered. Don't lean to the left. And pulse at the top of the range of motion in your donkey. Press your heel towards the sky. All right, lower it down. Take the weight out. Straight leg. Kick back. Unless you're still doing the combo. Head is an extension of the spine. Don't let it drop down. Kick your heel towards the back wall. All right, and stay there and pulse. Other side. Take the weight behind your left knee if using one. Donkey kicks. Push the ground away, slightly round your spine. Draw navel to spine, or slightly round your upper back, I should say. Focus on your left glute as you kick your left heel up toward the ceiling. You may also feel this in your hamstring, especially if you're holding the weight in place here. And pulse at the top. And kick back. And pulse in your kickback. And lower down. Tricep push-ups are next. So if you have any weights in the way, move them out of the way. And here we go. Walk yourself forward, knees on the ground or not. Press through your palms, your ribs. Glide past your elbows because you are keeping your elbows tucked in towards your side body rather than them going out to the left and right. Focus on bringing your chest down to the ground rather than bringing your navel, your belly button, down to the ground. Gaze slightly ahead. Wonderful. Shoulder taps. Find a plank. Tap your shoulders. Widen the stance of your feet to help you stay in place, but you can even see I here am not doing a perfect job of that. Superman. First with the palms on the ground, but we're not pressing into them. But you should definitely press into your hips and the tops of your feet. Hover your hands off of the ground here. out like the letter T. Focus on your back muscles. Send your hands back towards the wall behind you, palms face down. Squeeze your shoulder blades in toward one another and lift. Lower all the way down, lift your right leg. Point your right toes, focus on your right glute. And pulse at the top here. Lower it down, other side. Pulse at the top. And both legs at once. Second to final move. Just the bear hold after this, and one more time through, and you're good. Here we go, bear hold. Curl your toes under, lift your knees off the ground. Press the ground away, draw navel to spine, long neck. Almost there. Keep those knees low. Keep them hovering. Think about something else. A beach, an ice cold glass of water, clouds, and lower down. One more time through. You've got about 10 seconds to get it all together. Find your weights if using them and meet at the top of your mat, starting with those squat kicks. Here we go. A little variation here is holding your knee in place. So here I am doing that rather than switching off each side. I'm going to do 10 on each side. So rather than a kick, I'm engaging my core still to hold my knee up. I'm still engaging the standing leg as I come to stand. My chest is forward, my gaze is forward. And now if you are doing that variation, stay at the top, kick your leg out and in. This will be a quad burner. Try to level your hips so you're not leaning towards your standing leg too much. And switch sides. Squat down, knee drive, slight pause, squat down, knee drive, slight pause, repeat. Press through that standing leg, engage the standing glute, draw navel to spine, gaze forward, chest forward, hold at the top, and kick. That's my bird in the background, nothing I can do about that. That is why I do voiceovers rather than record as I'm doing these workouts, because I cannot predict my bird. All right, here we go. We are doing the lunge back. I'll switch this one up a little bit too, but feel free to do as we were before. So what I'm going to do is pulsing squats and then pulsing lunges on each side. So 10 pulses here in the squat position. Send your seat back, weight in the heels. And now step back into your lunge and pulse for 10. Front knee stays behind front toes. Never let the back knee come down. Only 10 here. And switch sides. Press through the heel. Slight lean forward to engage the quad. Almost through it. Just changing it up, switching it up on this last round. Keeping you engaged, you know? All right, from here, our bridge is bridges. That didn't change. So press through the feet, bring your weights to your quads if using them. Slowly rise, slowly lower, navel to spine, ribs in. For added glute oomph, once again, lift your toes off of the mat, or lift the the front of your feet off the mat and just press your heels into the ground. Almost there. All right. And here we go for your sit-up crunch. Instead, this time, I am just pressing the weight up towards the ceiling. But of course, feel free to revert it back to the previous variation where you fully sit up and press the weight forward or press your hands forward. Lower all the way down before pressing back up. And now hold the weight in place as you lift and lower your heels off the ground with your legs in its tabletop position. Wonderful. All right, here we go. A little variation of clamshells. Instead of the 90-degree angle behind the knees with your heels closer to the back wall, you've got your knees in line with your hips. 90-degree angle still behind the knees. Flex your feet. Lift and lower your top leg, knee in line with hip. Hips stacked on top of one another. Navel drawn in. And breathe. Hold at the top and pulse. Wonderful. Take the right foot to the ground and inner thigh lift and lower here with or without your weight. Point your left toes. And pulse at the top. And now push the ground away. Hold your weight or not. Take your right palm to the ground. Push it away from you as you lift your upper body off of the ground. Final one. And switch sides, starting with the 90-degree wannabe clamshell variation with your knees out in front of your hips, 90-degree angle at the knees, lift and lower the top leg. I do want to record these live in real time, some experimenting with mics in order to do that. So we'll get there, but lift and lower. And here we go. Hold at the top and pulse. And inner thigh. Pulse at the top. And press the ground away. With or without the weight, left palm to the ground. Push the ground away to lift your upper body up. Use your triceps. Push, push, push. Leave your lower body as still as possible. It's round 3 of this, so maybe not as still as round 1, but as best you can. Last one. Totally did things out of order on this one, I think, towards the later end, but donkey kick from here. If you're using the weight, you're just doing the donkey kick. If not using the weight, you're doing the combo move of the donkey kick and the straight leg kick back. Flex your foot, hold at the top and pulse. Press your heel up towards the ceiling. Lift your knee as high as your glute. And here we go, straight leg kick back from here. And hold and pulse. Switch sides. Weight behind your left knee. Donkey kick. And pulse. And straight leg. And straight leg pulse. And here we go, tricep push-up. Except that's where I got the order wrong, so we're doing the back thing first. Hands to the ground. And lift the hands up. Arms out like the letter T, and then straight back, and then the letter T, and then straight back, and then the letter T. A little added challenge here. Almost done with that. And then onto the glutes. All right, forehead to the ground or hands underneath forehead. Lift your right leg off the ground. Point your right toes. And pulse. And switch sides. And pulse. And both legs. And this is where I remembered that I had forgotten the tricep push-ups. So that is what we will be doing now. Lower down. Push the ground away. Hug the elbows in towards the side body. Draw your navel in towards your spine. Lower your chest and your chin down towards the ground. Knees lifted or lowered. And shoulder taps. Find your plank position, widen your feet stance to help you stay stable in the hips. All right, here we go. We are going to our bear hold. Here I attempted to keep a weight on my back. Yep, that's not happening. So just enjoy me trying to figure that out and then ditching the idea completely. Yep, there we go. Curl the toes under, lift the knees, and hold. This is the last little bit you have. Give it your all. Press the ground away. Keep your neck long. Keep your knees barely hovering over the ground. The lower your knees, the harder it is. Draw your navel to spine. Hold, hold, hold. Almost done. And breathe. And breathe. Breathe in. Breathe out. Sway your head. Yes, no. Just for a moment. Relieve some tension in the shoulders. Find stillness and hold. Almost there. Lower your knees, uncurl your toes, sit back, child's pose, do something that feels good here. You are done. You did it. Congratulations. So happy for you, so proud of you. Make sure to stretch, drink lots of water, nourish your body with healthy foods, and I'll see you again next time.